This week can't even speak. That just happened. This week I'm going to cover week 5 of college football. I can't believe I just did that. We're going to start right after this.
Go ahead and peck your dookie chicken, go do what you do best. Go ahead and peck your dookie chicken and the Tigers will do the rest. Take the fish out of water and try to make it drive the car.
Hey, listen, when you do live videos, mistakes happen, and that's just one of them. So thanks for joining me. I'm Brian Knight. I am not Bobby Durkins, at least not right here. If you're brand new, hit the subscribe button. It's free. Hit the thumbs up. It's free again. And guess what? If you hit the notifications, it lets you, that little bell there notifies you when I go live. Guess what? It's free as well. So I do appreciate it. This week, we're going to dive into week 5 of college football. I've put the link to the college football FBS schedules in the body below. So if you scroll up, you want to keep that, you want to save it. I like it. The only complaint that I have is that it doesn't give me like an Excel form. If anybody has something like that, please send that to me. I do appreciate it. Getting in here, Chase Henderson, May there to you. Good to see you, Chase. Got a couple of people in here already. So I will be putting the StreamYard link in here to where you'll be able to join. But I'm going to dive right into this college football season, and I'm going to share the screen right now so you can see it. And once again, this is from FBSschedules.com, and I really like it because you can just thumb through the tabs and see what is there. So I'll blow this up to where you can see it a little better. Now, at this point, we're technically 5 weeks in because of week 0. You had already played 5 weeks, but this is the official 5th week. So week 0, I did a video on that. There's only a few games, a lot of real sleeper games. But now we're getting into the meat of the season. You're getting better competition. You're getting better play. You're now starting to get an idea of who was actually good and who was actually blown up in the preseason just to sell magazines and to keep certain fan bases engaged in college football. So, starting out on a Thursday night, September the 28th, you really don't have anything special here. Middle Tennessee State, Western Kentucky, Temple at Tulsa, Jacksonville State, and Sam Houston. Unless you pull for one of those schools, you could absolutely care less that those games are going on. Now, the very next night, Friday, September the 29th, now that on the other hand, starts to get a little more interesting. Now, for my non-ACC fans, you're going to see this Louisville at North Carolina State game. You're going to go, sleeper. I kind of agree with you. But for conference play, it's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting having Brian Brum take over Louisville. You've got NC State. Probably at this point of the season, I have to go back and look at their schedule. Things are getting quite interesting for them. But let's skip on over to the Utah at Oregon State game. Now, I know it's the Pac. It's the Pac. It's a 9 o'clock game for us East Coast people. We'll watch the game just to say that we're watching the game. But for that conference, this game is big to me for Oregon State. It's not as big for Utah. Utah actually does quite well within their conference. It's when they go outside and play non-conference games, it looks like trash. I mean, I'm just telling the truth here. Now, Utah, if you have Utah against Southern Cal, you have Utah against Oregon, I mean, you've got a problem there. Utah will actually come out and play really good ball. Now, we can break that down whether it's because of the lack of play within the conference or because they're not scared, they're not playing scared. But Oregon State and their coach, Jonathan Smith, former Oregon State quarterback, that led them to the best season they've ever had in history. That's in the late 1990s, early 2000s. He's the head coach. The guy did great last year. Now, according to this FBS schedules, I mean, we're as of today, this is June the 12th. Okay, so this is very, very much could change by the time we get to this game, and in fact, I know it will. They have Oregon State at preseason number 17, Utah at number 14. This is a big game within that conference and within the United States in college football. All right. Got Grafnar in here. It's good to see you, Grafnar. Yeah, DJ will be playing for them. This is his second chance. He better take advantage of it. Parker Henderson. Got both Henderson sisters in here. My God. I'm gonna put the link here in just a second, and I want both of you to come on. I don't care if you're on the John, just don't show me anything, please. Grafnar, yeah, the BCS Fiesta Bowl back in the day. You're right. Jonathan Smith was the man coaching for them. I think Chad Ochocinco was on that team. I think that was the same team that went in and played Notre Dame and absolutely beat their brains in. People were like, who is this? Yeah. But that will be a very interesting game. Now, okay, all right, I'm about to get into Saturday. Someone's going to go, man, you talk about too many boring games. Unsubscribe. Okay, great. If you're that finicky, if you're that hormonal, if you need a my doll that bad, okay. Cincinnati at BYU. Okay, all right. It's not that great of a game, but think about this. Scott Satterfield takes over Cincinnati. They're going to BYU. I want to go to a game at BYU. I really do. I want to go to the Holy War, by the way. I would love to go to that game. I'm not Mormon at all, but that would be a fun game. And I think Utah would be a beautiful state to visit. Cincinnati at BYU. That'd be a very interesting game. Okay, now we're into the meat and potatoes, folks. The meat and potatoes. Adam Harrison. Good to see you, Adam Harrison. Always a pleasure to see you on here. Good to see you, Adam. I'm glad you're alive and well, hopefully well. I know that you're alive or someone's hacked your account. Christian Sheets, what's up? You know what, Christian? I want you to tell me who the most well-known University of Kentucky football YouTuber is. And I want to have him on my show. And I'm going to pause right there, folks. I've got big news. This coming Thursday, which is, let me see, the 15th. June the 15th at 2:30 Eastern Standard Time. I'm having the biggest guest I've ever had. I'm not taking away from the great guests that I've had on the show so far. But I have one of the biggest names in college football coming on this show. It's a good friend of mine. I think that one of the finest gentlemen I've ever met. The voice of college football, Mark Rogers, is coming on my show 2:30 Thursday, June the 15th. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I don't care if you're having surgery. Get them to put some earbuds in your ears, and while they sedate you, you can hear me. And most importantly, you hear Mark Rogers. Who cares about me? Christian Sheets says, Chase Henderson sent me here. I've loved Clemson and Kentucky for a while. I'm going to tell you right now, Chase Henderson, the Henderson sisters have been good to Bobby Durkins and not Bobby Durkins. So thank you so much for sharing the good news. Parker found out about me and then shared it with his family and got Chase into it. And I've met his wonderful parents. Those are some cool people. Got some great stories too. And now Christian. So Christian, thanks. I'm glad that you're here. Thanks, bud. Thank you so much. But yeah, Mark Rogers is coming on the show. So please check it out. If you don't know who Mark Rogers is, go subscribe to him and then tell him Brian Knight sent you, not Bobby Durkin sent you. Now let's get back into this. Saturday, September the 30th. Now there's a bunch of games here that earlier in the season you would probably sit and watch. as you get into the, as I like to call it, the meat and potatoes. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where we're finding out who is legit, who is a poser, and who shouldn't even been considered. Now I'm going to name out a game to you that may not seem like a big game, but I think the tide is going to turn for this team. Iowa State at Oklahoma. Now, if you go and you look at Oklahoma, it was Brent Venables' first year. Lincoln Riley had raided the cupboard, took what he wanted, back to Los Angeles. He has the right to do that, by the way. You may not like it. You might be pissed about it. I may not be a fan of it, but he has that right. And Brent Venables went 6-7. Everybody remembers the 49-0 loss to Texas. They remember the 31-point loss to TCU. But the other 3 regular season games, he lost by 7 and then 2 by 3. Then he lost his bowl game to a Florida State team, who, by the way, won 10 games last year. Lost to them by 3. I'm telling you, that's going to be an interesting game. That will be an interesting game. A very interesting game. Now, getting on into this, there's going to be a couple of more eyebrow raisers. And there's some games that I'm skipping. I know there's a lot of games that I'm skipping that we could talk about. That'd be fantastic. Now, for my Clemson fans, Clemson at Syracuse, I'm going to tell you right now, if Syracuse plays even close with Clemson this year, we need to get our crap together. All right. I think Dino Babers is a wonderful coach. But I am just telling you right now, this Syracuse team is not that great. Clemson should beat the crap out of them. The very next game, USC at Colorado. You want to talk about a game that is incredible for a lot of reasons. You have 2 teams that their coaches has rated the rosters of many through transfer portal. Once again, they have that right. If those players hit the transfer portal, you're going to take advantage of it. But both of these coaches has maybe the most value that the NIL has dished out to anyone. It's these 2 teams. I know you could argue about other teams and you would be like, oh, well, blah, 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 blah. But the truth is, Parker, he's the stepsister. When you look at these 2 teams, you just see something just absolutely, it's kind of a head shaker of all the players that are on their team that just a year ago or 2 years ago was playing for someone else. You've got a lot of razzle-dazzle on both sides of the ball. You've got a lot of attitude on both sides of the ball. I tell you, this could be a fun football game. Now, if Deion wins this ball game, and he's undefeated at this point, I'm not saying he's going to go to the playoff, win the national championship. You have to have depth for that. I'm sorry. Colorado does not have depth right now. They can do well within their conference, but let's pump the brakes there. This is an interesting game for many reasons. Yes, Chase, I left that up there on purpose. Next game, Georgia at Auburn. By the way, I'm working with, I won't name his name right now, but I'm working with one of the biggest Auburn football YouTubers to schedule them on the show. And I hope to get him on the channel. He and I we're trying to work out the schedule because, you know, schedules are crazy, folks. But I want to get him on there because I believe that Auburn made the best, unless something has left my mind right now, and I know I've got the group here who will tell me. Auburn made the best off-season hire in all of college football. And I will go as far as to say they made one of the best off-season hires probably in the past 3 years in college football. So I want to know how it feels to be an Auburn fan right now. I want to know what it feels like to be an Auburn fan after all the crap they've went through. And now you finally make a worthwhile hire. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say this. Brian Harsin being hired at Auburn, I'm not going to attack Brian Harsin. If someone's going to hire me and offer me a lot of money, I'm going to take it. As long as I'm not doing something wrong, I'm going to take it. It would take God speaking to me going, don't you take that job. Okay? Got the hat in here. Got BGPO Football Funk. Good to see you in here. What is good? I tell you what's good is that you're here. Got the hat in here, as I said. Grafnar. It's Bob. It's good to see you in here, buddy. But it's going to be Georgia at Auburn. Number 1 Georgia at Auburn. If there is anyone, and it may not happen in year 1. I know that there's a lot of work to be straightened out at Auburn. Okay. So let's, if I'm an Auburn fan and I'm going to be realistic, I'm excited that Hugh Freeze is there, but I have to accept that it's going to take him at least a couple of years to get things straightened out. You talk about a coach, somebody who can coach, that man can coach. He can call plays and he can head coach. He can head coach. The guy got caught doing what a lot of people do, what they do all the time. I'm once again, I'm not saying that that's okay. I'm just saying that if you think that a lot of these other schools don't have good-looking girls in the shortest dresses alive going up to meet their football players, bringing them in and doing God knows what, you are living on a planet where Mickey Mouse actually exists. But Georgia at Auburn, that's a big game. And according to how they play up to this point in their quarterback play and so on, whatever goes on there, that's going to be a big game. In fact, I'm going to look at Auburn right now. And this is crazy. I just opened it up right off the bat. Now, yeah, there's a lot of work to be done. They're mostly returning their defense. They're only returning 2 on offense. I'd have to dive more into the roster, and I'm not going to do that while I'm live. But that's a big deal. Let's go right here. Before I have to put my 3-year-old down for bed, he says May there. He loves to watch. I'm going to say it here. Clemson needs to make an impact this season, or it really may be over for quite some time. Well, you're right, but I think we are definitely heading in the right direction. Definitely. We're in the right direction. Sweeney doing what he did, firing Streeter after only 1 year, hiring the hottest commodity in college football. You got him. You've landed these recruits. Clemson's getting their fire back, and I think that we're good. I will say this to your 3-year-old. I hope your 3-year-old is there. If he's not, get him there. Hope he's there. I'm going to go Bobby Durkins just for your 3-year-old. Okay, not for anybody else. I know Chase and Parker's over there want me to go Bobby Durkins for them, but guys, you're men. I want to do this one time for your baby. Man, how you doing, baby? Let me tell you right now, I want you to go to bed. I want you to count how many boogers you picked, and I want you to eat every one of them. Night. That was for you. The hat wants to know if Bobby Durkin still drinks Bud Light. No. No. Notice that hat hadn't been on here. I'm not. They hung their middle finger to the people who drinks their. They know the people who aren't even Christians or stuff like that. They know what they're doing when they did that. And if they didn't, they're out of touch with their target audience. You don't do that in the corporate world. You don't do that. You don't go piss on the people who drinks your product just to make some type of point. I'm sorry. You don't do that. You take care of Adam. Chase, what Mickey Mouse doesn't exist. What a human-sized mouse gave me a hug. Then what human-sized mouse gave me a hug in Disney World? You and I are going to have to talk about this offline. I think Auburn hired the right man to fix that problem. I think they did. All right, back to this. Michigan at Nebraska. Here's the reason why this is interesting. Matt Rule has taken over at Nebraska. Matt Rule has brought in some good transfers. I'm not saying that the cupboard is filled there. I'm not saying that things are fixed. It's going to take some time. If there's anybody who has proven that they can take over a program that is in total shambles and win with them fast, that's Matt Rule. Well, the Panthers, he couldn't coach himself out of a wet paper sack. It was the NFL. Not all of them, but most of them are whiny babies, overpaid children, who the majority of them assault women sexually, beat the crap out of them. And anytime some type of social issue comes up, they want to act like they've been victimized. I don't want to hear it from them. And they spit in the face of their viewers nonstop. I don't blame him for not doing well in the NFL. You're right. Jeff Sims could be electric under Matt Rule. And he's the quarterback there. I'll get to that in a second, Parker. Alabama at Mississippi State. I don't expect that to be a great game. That'll be, I think, a death sentence. Florida at Kentucky. I'm already hearing calls for Billy Napier's head. And let me, once again, I'm going to tell you something that a lot of people don't want to hear. That Billy Napier was not a good hire at Florida. I'm not saying Billy Napier's not a good coach. He's not a good hire for Florida. Brian Harsin did a good job at Boise State. He was not an Auburn man. I mean, just period. And so when I heard that Florida hired Billy Napier, can I tell you what my first thoughts were? And still are? Dang, I wished I'd have went into coaching. I'm just being honest. And a lot of people don't know. Billy Napier was the offensive coordinator for Dabo Swinney in his first 2 years. He fired Billy Napier. Now, I know he went on and did some good things and people grow. I get that. Florida, whoever's making the decisions down there, you don't know what you're doing. And you can sit in your office surrounded by unlimited doctorates behind you. Doctorates and PhDs and so many letters at the end of your name, you think someone jumbled up the alphabet. But you don't know what you're doing when it comes to hiring a football coach. Yes, Grafnar, he did. He did fire him. Chase was at Disney Acres, so it was a knockoff mouse. Yeah. You got me. The hat. Napier got left with a poor roster by Mullen. I think he'll get Florida back to the Muschamp standard. Oh, that was, man, 2 great comments right off the bat. Wow. Holy crap. Yes, Grafnar, Dabo did fire Napier once. He did. And folks, I'm about to put the live stream link in here. Remember, keep it family friendly. Keep it clean. If you don't, I'm just going to have to take you off the show. I'm not being a jerk. It's just I've politely asked, and this is a family show. If you want to go act like a hellion, please, by all means, go to someone else's channel. B-Bean, it's good to see you. Is this Bobby Durkins or not Bobby Durkins? I'm confused. Dude, I don't even know who I am anymore. It's just whoever, if someone comes up to me and they're angry, I want to figure out if they're mad at not Bobby or Bobby. And whoever they're mad at, I'm the other guy. Getting back to the schedule. Florida at Kentucky. Man, I'm going to have to see Kentucky play. I'm going to have to dive into their roster a little more. I'm going to have to dive into both rosters a little more. But I'm going to tell you this. Kentucky, as well as a lot of people, has had Florida's number recently. Next up, Oregon at Stanford. I know us Southeastern boys who doesn't care about Pac football. Again, it's like a sleeper. Why would I bring it up? Stanford has a new football coach. We'll see what happens there. I mean, that's something to consider. Yes, Chase. The hats comment. When I first started reading it, I was like, oh, man, he's being nice. Yeah, he's saying, oh, back to the Muschamp standard. Oh, God, that circular insult was brilliant. I hear my youngest being rude to his mom downstairs. That's what's so sad about doing live streams at night, and it's getting close to bedtime. Yeah. I might have to end this, but I'm going to dive on through here. LSU at Ole Miss. LSU at Ole Miss. Lane and Brian Kelly going head-to-head. LSU supposed to be good this year. Ole Miss has Lane, so you know that they're going to work something out. That will be a very interesting game. If anybody's I don't care if LSU comes into this game undefeated. They better watch out. Hey, watch them come in there and beat Ole Miss by 20. Who knows? Now, here is the game, my friends, and I'm highlighting this one. South Carolina at Tennessee. Everybody, please just focus on. I want you to tell me, what do you think is going to happen in Knoxville, Tennessee, when that team shows up? South Carolina at Tennessee. Ponder that. Now, I've told you this. Bobby Durkins Jr. went to that game. He's a South Carolina fan. I'm sorry, I tried. And he went with his uncle who graduated from Tennessee. And on the ride down to Columbia, he asked his uncle, he said, what chance do we have in beating y'all? South Carolina beating Tennessee tonight. And his uncle, like anybody, said the right answer. He said, none. And then, of course, South Carolina beat the crap out of him. Okay? But I'm going to tell you right now, Tennessee, if there is any game that they are paying attention to, this, and I know they would, if you talk to Coach Heupel, you talk to the players, they're going to give you that bullcrap HR answer. But I'm going to tell you exactly what those boys are thinking, that they are going to get them back in Knoxville. They're going to get them back for hurting their quarterback. They're going to get them back for beating the crap out of them. They're going to get them back for ruining their chances at a college football playoff. They're going to get them back. I like Shane Beamer. I hate to admit it, I like Shane Beamer. He's better than South Carolina. I'm sorry. South Carolina fans, you better hug his legs like a 3-year-old begging for ice cream, because that man, somebody's going to come along. They're going to pay him a lot more money than you to come win at a school that's easier to win at. Okay? But that's a big game. That is a big game. And I'll go ahead and tell you, I believe Tennessee wins this football game. Unless their quarterback play is just terrible, they win this game. Okay, Texas A&M at Arkansas in Arlington. Okay, not a massive game. It'll just be interesting to see where both of those teams are at by the fourth or by the fifth week of the season. That'll be an interesting game. And we're at the end here. Notre Dame at Duke. Now, Notre Dame has to make the trip to the Carolinas 3 times in the football season. They go to North Carolina. They go to North Carolina State. I'm sorry, and they're going to NC State. Then they go to Duke. And then they're going to play Clemson. November the 4th, Death Valley. This Duke football team just had a 9-4 football season under first-year head coach Mike Elko. They returned the majority of their team, including their quarterback. This is not an easy game for Notre Dame. In fact, this is a game where they're going to leave the majesty of Notre Dame Stadium, a historic stadium. You may hate Notre Dame. You may go, I'm tired of hearing about Notre Dame. That's fine. Notre Dame is, like it or not, they are so historic. Yeah, they haven't won a national championship in 35 years. But they've been that good through history that they're still historical. They're still respected. It's still really expensive to get a hold of a Notre Dame ticket when they come to your school to play, because people want to see them play. But they're going to go from that majestic place to Duke's football field that has what, about 30,000 people? Am I right? Ooh, maybe they did an expansion and they're up to 40,000. It might be on ESPN. It'll be on TV, of course, but it might be on ESPN. Do you really think that they'll be all fired up to go play Duke? I don't. That's why I've worn my Tigers on game 1. You better come in there and be ready to play. Now, if you come in there and play your game, guess what? They take care of business. But if they go in there and play around and, blah, 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 you could have a problem. And that's what I'm saying to Notre Dame. You could have a problem in this game. You could have a problem in this game. Folks, that is the end of the review of, or preview of week 5 of college football 2023. Now, we're sitting in June. We're now less than 3 months from the start of college football. 3 months from now, we'll already have a couple of games in that's worthwhile. Grafnar says, I like Notre Dame. I need to buy you a good quality beer and tell you my South Bend story. I would like for you to do that. I'll drink that beer and I will listen to that story. Why did I skip Colorado? Yeah, I got Colorado earlier. Colorado and Southern Cal. You need to go back. I talked about how those two teams are the greatest beneficiaries of the transfer portal. I think I did an okay job. Yeah, a whopping 40,000. So, folks, I'm going to put the StreamYard link here. If you want to join me, remember, keep it clean. You can come on. We'll talk for a few minutes. but I do want to give other people time to get in. So I just put the link in there. If you want to click on it, as I said, keep it family friendly. We'll go from there and talk college football. So for me, I am scouring through my Lindy's book here. I picked this up. I almost bought the Athlon sports book, and I looked at it, and I like it, But at the same time, after looking at the Athlon sports book, I was like, I think Lindy's done a pretty good job. Phil Steele is the OG. Phil Steele is the OG. He does his thing. But and I'll probably end up with that as well. Get the digital subscription. But I want to scour the books and find some teams that I believe legitimately has a chance. They may not go to the playoffs, but like absolutely rip up some seasons for people and do pretty well. B-Bean, is Clemson going 12-0? This is a tougher schedule than what a lot of people realizes. This schedule is not an easy schedule. The teams that they're playing may not be playoff teams, but they have enough talented players on the teams, like North Carolina. Clemson plays North Carolina toward the very end of the season. You're playing a Drake May. You're playing a Drake May team that, as long as Drake is okay, now he lost Josh Downs and so on. He can't play defense as well. He can't go out there and just catch the ball. But I'm telling you, Drake May, he is the best quarterback in the ACC, and I believe overall athleticism, decision-making, ability, physically, I think he's one of the best in college football. And I'll tell you right now, I said this to someone recently. I think it was Always Irish. By the way, I had Always Irish on a couple of weeks ago. Go check him out. Big Notre Dame fan. Writer for USA Today. It was great to have him on the show. It was an honor. But we were talking about players to draft or top players in college football. And I told him, I said, look, I would draft Drake May over Caleb Williams because I believe that Drake May, he has it up here. I really do. I really, really do. I believe that he has it more upstairs. That's going to be a tough game. I mean, Duke is going to be tougher than what I even thought when I started this review. That's the fun thing about doing these reviews. You have to look at teams and you have to think about them. And then even here, I get in here and I'm reading comments. I'm reading about certain teams, and then it creates more questions about those teams. Who's actually good? Who's a sleeper? Who's overrated? If I'm an NFL team, I'm not taking Williams over May. I'm taking Williams if May is unavailable. I've got my first guest in here. Just glad to be here. Hey, just glad to be here. I'm about to put you on. Just want to remind you, my friend, let's keep it nice and clean. And, oh, it's you idiot. I'm adding you to the stream, you dummy.
Hey, keep it clean, Brian.
Everybody, Parker Henderson. Parker Henderson is here. Parker, how's it going out there in Atlanta?
It sucks, man.
It's good to hear.
Yeah, it's not the best. It's not the best. Traffic sucks. Yeah, that's about it. Nothing much going on with Atlanta.
So okay, so in this week 5, and you've been here pretty much the whole video, right?
Yeah.
Okay. There are some sleeper games there, but what is some of the games that like stick out to you there? Or maybe you pulled up that schedule, which, by the way, I'm telling everybody, you need to pull up this FBS schedule, save it. My only complaint is not Excel file friendly where you can just drop them down and so on. But it's really easy to keep up with it. What games are sticking out to you that maybe even I overlooked?
No, so the first game that sticks out to me is the Utah-Oregon State game. I'm going to stay up to watch that game, 110%. I think, like you said earlier, it's like, DJ, he's got to prove himself. He's got a second chance. You got to do something with it. And earlier I was reading, how he said, well, Clemson just wasn't the fit. With the scheme that we did, I wanted to get under center more and throw it deep. Well, I mean, DJ, you couldn't even throw it short, so why would they make you throw it deep, first off? So it's going to be interesting to see. I hope he does well, and that wasn't me hating on him. I do hope he does well, and I'm very excited to see what happens, especially against a Utah team who, in their own right, is good. So there's that. And then the second game is South Carolina, Tennessee.
Oh, God, yeah.
It's going to be a good one. And I think Tennessee fans need to not get the Georgia mentality where, yes, Georgia, yes, you won 2 national championships back-to-back. You also had Todd Monken. You also had a very good team. You did. And nobody's taking that away from you. But this is year 3. Okay, but going back to the Tennessee thing, you win a few games, and therefore you're just the best team, since sliced bread. So I'm not a South Carolina fan. I hate them with a passion. I do think that they are going to be very decent plus, decent plus, if not good. This season. So I do think that they will beat Tennessee. Tennessee's losing a lot. I think Heupel is a good coach, and he will have Tennessee coached well. Again, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be a very interesting game. So those are the 2 games that stick out to me. Yeah.
I was just looking at this sports book. The week before South Carolina and Tennessee tango, Tennessee plays UTSA, and I did a video last week that UTSA is a lot more dangerous than what a lot of people realize, and they have a 7th-year college football player at quarterback. Go look it up. But UTSA has.
Is it Stetson Bennett?
This is not Stetson Bennett,
okay.
And I don't think this guy will qualify for the Disney story. I'm telling you,
I'm pretty sure Stetson's old enough to be my dad or something.
Yeah. I think that Stetson actually qualifies to give me retirement advice, and I'm older than him, but
you probably don't want that because he's about to retire pretty early.
Yeah. The hat's in here saying Harris, right? You're right. I think it's Frank Harris. Is UTSA's, and you've got to, guys, I got to show y'all this. Let me see. Got SEC dog in here.
Yes. I was waiting for him.
My favorite SEC, my favorite Georgia fan is in here. SEC dog. Stetson said, or SEC dog agrees with me. Folks, did you hear that? He agrees with me that he's not a fan of Mike Bozo, as he calls him. But,
oh man, that's a whole nother video, Brian.
I Am the Sandbag is in here. Who is this? I Am the Sandbag. Are you? Oh, it's your ugly brother. My God, dear God.
He is the walrus.
He's the walrus.
I'm the sandbag that tripped Joe Biden. That's the rest of that. That gave the ...
Oh my God, guys! I've got to find this picture of Frank Harris from UTSA. I showed the picture to my wife and I said, how can a man this old who is he's a legitimate football player. I mean, he is leading a solid football team. Smile like this. This is it. And I'm trying to get it. Look at that. That is his picture, folks.
Are his eyes closed?
I'm trying to.
Yes, his eyes are closed, folks. Now I'm going to read this. This is fun. I'm not making this up. The guy could be a wonderful person, but if I was a family member, if he has a girlfriend, a wife, I don't know, favorite doctor or something, I hope they're one of those people. If it was me, they would step in and go, "Yo, dude, you can't do that."
No,
I would hope that you two would call me up.
So here's the problem with that. The problem with that is that picture in that article of that publication went through the publisher, the editor, the original writer, and the photographer, and they all said, "Yeah, that looks good. Let's make him look good."
That's the one. I'm going to read this.
That's the problem.
I've got Grafnar joining us, folks. Grafnar is on here.
It's a trap.
Grafnar is here. Grafnar, before
every time I hear his name, I think of so I'm just like,
you're talking about Spock.
Thank you, God. I couldn't get it.
Grafnar and Spock. They sound.
I don't know, just space people.
Grafnar, what's up, man?
Oh, nice.
He's got the space
He's
lights.
even got the space lights.
These LED lights are very, very inexpensive and they're very worth it.
I like it.
I like the throwback jersey too.
Is
Yeah,
that the Steve Fuller?
I was about to say that's the Steve Fuller.
That is. Hold on, before you
Woody
say that is.
Woody Dantzler.
Woody
this is
Dantzler.
Woody Dantzler.
I thought it was a 4. I thought it was
It
a
looked
4.
like a 4 for a second.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it looks a little like a 4.
I thought it was a 4 from there. Dude,
There's my full name. My full name is on there now.
That trip's Joe Biden. Yes, you did it. You're the one. You better watch out, dude. You're going to get swatted in the middle of the night. They're going to yank you out by your underwear. Guys, I want to read this about this Frank Harris guy. That's the quarterback of UTSA.
I'm going to get some headphones that I can hear better. Hang on. I'm listening.
Yeah. Go. Yeah.
Turn your camera off.
Let me see if I can turn it off for him without let me see. No, I can't.
Lights are
do
pretty
that.
cool though.
Those are cool. I need to know where you got those.
Yeah.
The store.
We can still see you, Grafnar.
Put pants on, Grafnar.
Don't stand up all the way.
Grafnar, this isn't OnlyFans.
Hey.
I can't find them.
Oh boy.
All right, I need to log on my phone so that I don't have as much backdraft here.
Oh man.
I'm gonna try muting the YouTube.
Yeah. Oh my God! Do you have something that's lit up across your bar
Thank you.
back there?
Yes, Star Trek. God, I could not get.
Well,
that.
I see the back part, but it looks
Could not
like
get it. Star Trek. Thank you.
below there. So, folks, I'm going to read this about Frank Harris. This 3-year-old boy is back for his 7th. No, it's not 3-year-old, but he smiles like a 3-year-old. There's the other lie, but he's back for his 7th season, holds 34 records after passing for more than 4,000 yards last season. Began his career in 2017 when he redshirted, and then he missed all of 18 and all but 4 games in 19 because of injury. With the NCAA COVID waiver for 2020, he even got a 3rd extra year. And my man still smiles like that.
See, again, that goes back
How's he not
to-
graduated?
Well, that's not even the problem. The problem is why? What magazine is that?
This is Lindy's, folks. This is Lindy's. Yeah.
That's awful.
Okay, coming in on your phone.
All right. You're leaving there. Grafnar is coming in on his phone. There
Much
we
better.
are.
So
Hey, buddy.
it's college football. Oh my gosh, that's awful.
Yeah.
Hey, Grafnar, mute your YouTube.
Yeah. Do it.
Mute the YouTube on your computer so it'll shut down the background.
Okay,
think
how
I
about
might-
now? Is it good now?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we
cool.
got you.
Yeah. All right. Excellent.
Yeah, I just can't. I can't believe this. But hey, kudos to his coach, who's only been there for 3 years. Only been there for 3 years. They had an 11-3 season last year. I would like to actually go up to Tennessee and see UTSA. I think that would be a fun game. And I've actually warned the Vols. I'm not telling you you're going to lose this game. I am telling you, don't you dare think that little UTSA is going to come in there and just be thrilled to be in Knoxville.
Well, I mean, that team has, 25 years of experience in one player?
It's pretty good.
So, guys, what other games is sticking out to you? What other games are in Week 5?
Well, I named mine too, and honestly, those are the only two that truly stuck out to me. And I'm not looking at a sheet, so I can't give you any others. But the Utah, Oregon State with DJ, and then South Carolina, Tennessee game for sure.
That game is going to be a good one.
But also the Louisville NC State game. I remember that one as well. That one's going to be good. I think it's going to be better than what
the Auburn game. Was that one too? Oh my God! Is there somebody else?
No, I just threw the schedule up there just so you could see it. Now this is, it's a pretty big day. It's packed.
It is a big day. Let's see here. Iowa State at Oklahoma. I just hope Oklahoma does well. I mean, I'm not an Oklahoma fan. It's really all about Brent Venables.
Yeah. Once again,
App State at ULM. That actually might be a good game.
Going back to Venables, okay? The guy lost 4 games, and 3 of them was by 3 points.
Yeah, no, they're going to be a
and
problem.
one of them was by 7. Yeah. I see that Chase is drinking sweet tea again on the air. He's drinking sweet tea, folks.
Does it have to be sweet tea?
No, I'm just saying that because you're sweet, like sweet tea. What are you drinking over there, my friend? What are you drinking, Grafnar?
Admiral Nelson 101.
Oh, nice choice.
Oh,
Nice.
It's spicy. Very spicy.
Spicy, yeah. I'm drinking
Grafnar-
Woodford Reserve Double
The
Oak.
spicy meatball. I'm just drinking sweet tea, you know.
Yeah, sweet tea, guys. We're right now. Parker, what do you? Parker, did your wife give you a sippy cup? She did, didn't she? I know she did.
Well, I got plenty of them hanging around, so maybe.
So, Grafnar, now I know we're on the internet. You don't want to give exact location, but what general area are you located in?
I'm in Charleston, South Carolina, good sir.
Oh yeah,
That was very
Okay.
general.
I mean,
No.
you asked the question. If you're from Charleston, you got to answer it, and you got to answer it that way.
That's fair. That's respect. I respect that.
Oh, yeah.
I love Charleston. I love.
It's actually one of my
Charleston.
favorite cities, actually.
It really is.
Well, you know, when you spend the first 18 years of your life in a suburb of Columbia, and you have to experience living there where they will interrupt a weather broadcast, I'm really not kidding, with them going into how excited they are that Carolina won a game. Yeah.
It's a pus pocket.
You know, you got to get out. And I'm sorry, you know, if College of Charleston ever starts their football team again, I'm going to have to pull against the Tigers if CFC ever plays them. But that's it. Other than that, I grew up going to Clemson games with Dad so long, I don't remember my first one. The first game I remember was 1984 Clemson, Carolina, and I remember that was my second game, and sadly, Clemson lost because of a safety. Mike Epley was tackled to the end zone. I don't want to talk about it.
That was a year before I was born.
Good times.
Wow. Are you trying to make Grafnar feel bad?
No, I was just
Agent?
saying. I was like, oh, I can say that I know. Oh, wait, no,
That's
I
okay.
don't know that.
No. That's okay. That's okay. 2003 fixed a lot of problems with my childhood, so it's okay. Everybody, I can guarantee you, everybody here knows where they were when they saw the score go final at 63-17.
RR, we don't speak of Sherman in these parts.
Go ahead.
What?
Read your comments.
Let me see.
We don't speak of.
Oh,
We don't speak of Tecumseh.
Didn't Sherman burn down most of these cities? He did.
Haven't you
And
seen
still-
Gone with the Wind?
And still left a lot. Oh, look at that.
Sherman did not come down to Charleston because God stopped him, and he didn't want to.
Listen, if you watch the documentary Gone with the Wind, it tells you. It's a live action documentary.
So,
Yeah.
Chase, you're holding up the West Virginia. Is that the West Virginia Clemson score?
That's a Gator Bowl.
It is.
No,
It
no,
is
no,
a Gator Bowl.
no. It can't be. Oh, you're talking about back in the day. Back in the day, Gator Bowl. Okay. Yeah. Not the game that shall not be spoken of.
Oh, God.
No, I'm
Oh,
just
no.
looking. I'm just trying to show you.
Well, you know what? Hey, we need to live with that
The
score
signature here.
because we had one of the best hires after that score. So let it ring.
You know what?
Chase-
You know what? Art through adversity. Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Chase,
You're right.
Chase, just real quick, guys. Chase, who was the autograph on there, my friend?
That is the one and the only Sir Danny Ford.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Yes.
And it's in it to you, Chase.
It is actually to me. So what's pretty cool is that my granddad would pick up Danny Ford for the touchdown club here in my hometown and pick him up from the airport. So they got to know each other real well. And whenever we were in Clemson in the off season, my granddad would call Danny Ford and I'd go to his house. I went to Danny Ford's house when I was like 5 years old, 6 years old. I remember
Nice.
playing with his kids' toys.
I bet
Did
they
you
had good
chew his
toys.
tobacco?
I thought it was beef jerky.
Honest answer.
The coolest
Okay.
thing that I ever did, I played catch with Jeff Davis.
That's true. I can vouch for that.
Yeah, I played catch with Jeff Davis, and he signed my little rubber Clemson ball that I still have, which is pretty cool.
Nice. All y'all are alums, right?
I am not now.
You're not? Okay. Well,
I decided to. Are you an alum?
Bobby, are you kidding me?
I am not an alum. I grew up right outside, literally outside of Clemson. Literally. For me to go anywhere other than Atlanta, Georgia, I had to pass by that stadium every flipping day. Every day. So, but no. Now, Pigskin, and I would tell you here and anybody else who's watching this in the future, Pigskin Pete and I, we laugh about this all the time because people who find out that we're not alums, oh, man, they have a field day with that. They're like, oh, yeah. Oh, so you're really not fans. It's like, dude, you can go jump off a bridge.
Man,
but-
if you've ever almost been jumped in an alley outside of Cumberland's because of the color of your jersey, then you get to say that's my team. I don't care if I went there or not.
I thought I was going in a different direction. And I was going to say,
Same.
I live in Atlanta, so I get it.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
But no, I graduated from Georgia Southern, and I don't watch their football.
You mean you're not down there for the fighting Clay Heltons?
God. Listen, I went to a few Georgia Southern games. I couldn't even sit through it. I was just like, this is boring. Like, it's just not the same. It's just not the same. Like, I grew up literally going to Clemson games my whole life, and I was up in Clemson, transferred down to Georgia Southern for a lady friend who I did not marry, but ended up meeting my wife at Georgia Southern, so it's okay. It all buffs out.
Chase is about to laugh.
It's okay.
Chase is about to laugh. Grafnor,
He just saw a
look
mirror.
at Chase. Look
It's okay.
at Chase. Look at
It's
Chase.
a safe place, Chase. It's a safe place. Go ahead. It's
Yeah.
okay.
It's not. It's a trap.
It's okay.
It's
It's
a
a
trap.
trap.
Like your ex texting you
All right.
earlier.
Yeah,
Um,
well, she's inebriated. It's okay.
Aren't we all?
No.
No. Okay.
I'm not that
So,
inebriated. It's okay.
So
I
I did not go to Clemson. I grew up going to Clemson games, but I played football in a very small Division III school because I'd rather have actually played instead of being a tickling dummy. This was before 100 throw and walk-ons could be a thing. So I wanted to go to Clemson my entire life. Like I said, I grew up a Clemson fan, but my wife actually is a graduate from Clemson, and she I met her at the Clemson Georgia game in 2013 when she was sitting behind me, and so
Wow, that's awesome.
yep, it's a
I gotta go to more games.
yeah, there's some good people there.
Yeah, she's really cool too. He's just a really, really cool person. But when you told me how y'all met, I was like, that's balling.
People don't believe it, but it's real. That actually happened. All right, so back to these. Where can I find the?
Yeah, I'm looking at them now.
Schedule.
See what's going on here.
In fact, I'll tell you this: I'll take the schedule and drop it in the comment section, just in case you need to re-access it. And everyone else who's watching this, just want to stop here, take a moment and let everyone know once again this Thursday. It's big for a little channel like mine. I'm going to tell you this: it's big for a little channel like mine to have someone, even though they're a friend of mine. They're a friend of mine. I still respect the mad abilities, the skills, and the clout that Mark Rogers brings, working at ESPN all those years, building a trusted YouTube channel, folks. That is very difficult. And he's going to be on my show in 3 days. That is Thursday, June the 15th, 2:30 Eastern Standard. Even if you can't watch it live, watch it later. Tell Mark you saw him on the big show. And yeah. That's a big deal.
That's pretty impressive, man. You're doing big things, man. And I don't really understand if you know like how big of things are coming your way. And it all started with you acting like a fool on the internet to the point where people think that you're a real person.
They still think that I'm a real person.
You are a real person, but I'm talking about Bobby Durkins. I mean, it's unreal. Honestly, it's pretty freaking awesome, man.
Don't stop doing that. Don't stop doing Bobby Durkins. Just don't.
Bobby Durkins is not going anywhere. And by the way, anyone who hasn't seen the recent Bobby Durkins, he went to Buc-ee's in Florence.
I saw that. That was good.
That's right. Thank you. My wife told me. She said, "My God, you were shaking the camera." I was like, "Babes, that place was so slammed that I was having to move a lot. You couldn't stand still. And I was trying to keep the camera from focusing on people, especially like children, because that's a no-no, you know? Yeah. So it was tough, but if it was really polished, it wouldn't be Durkins. Durkins is not polished. In fact, I think I've made Durkins too polished. So, but I appreciate all the kind words and everything that y'all said. But I'm really excited to have Mark on. Sports Talk Jay came on. Sports Talk Jay is burning it up. He's good people up out of Eastern Tennessee, always Irish. And as I said, I'm working with one of the big Auburn guys to possibly come on in the next couple of weeks. We're just having to iron out schedules. But I tell you what's most important is getting to meet guys like y'all who's become friends and supported the channel. You're always there. And that's the fun part for me. So let's hop back into these games. Let's talk about them a little more, and then I'm going to cut free.
So
I need to shower and go to bed.
I thought I smelled something.
That's my toes.
Oh, that's gross.
I have a purple toe.
It's the purple toe. That's my thinking toe.
Quick question. If I look this way, does it look like I'm looking at Bobby or Brian?
Yes, it does.
It does, yes.
I'm going to start doing that.
All right.
Okay, I'm looking at Chase. Hey, what's up?
We're talking about week 5?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
So actually the one that I think might be very interesting, and this is going to sound kind of crazy, if I actually may put some money on Kansas beating Texas, or at least covering the spread.
No, stop right there. Stop.
I'm so sorry. What?
I'm sorry, Admiral Akbar on line 1. Admiral Akbar.
God, why? All right, first off, why?
Hold on, guys. Before you go into it, Grafnar, I want you to buckle up, because when they're talking to each other, I always just like to listen. This is my entertainment. Go. Just go.
So, Parker, do you remember anything from last year regarding?
I do. That was last year. Continue.
How many of those guys came back?
Oh God, I don't know. It doesn't matter. What was their?
I'm looking it up.
What did they finish the season?
Winning. They had a winning season.
Did they?
What are you talking about? Texas or
Kansas?
Kansas was 6-7 because of their bowl loss. Okay.
Sorry,
they only lost by 2.
Also, when was the last time Kansas had more than 2 wins, and not counting the practice squad games?
Actually, it was a few years ago. It wasn't too long, but I get what you're saying.
All right. I'm gonna throw this out there, everybody, and I'm gonna do this fast. And I'm gonna sound like I'm auctioneering a little something off. All right.
Have it,
But
have
just
it,
go
have
with
it,
me.
have it, have it.
I got 5 in the corner. Got 5 in the quarter. Got 5 in the
you,
get
should
up, get up,
practice. You should definitely do that.
I should do that. Okay, so here's the 22 results for Kansas. Do want to throw this out there. They have 9 on offense returning, including their quarterback.
Check.
They have
The
7
healthy one?
returning.
Hold on, is that the one
The
that got
healthy
hurt?
one. The healthy one.
The healthy one or the
the-
one that got hurt?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, okay.
Got you. All right.
Jalen Daniels.
He was
Okay.
good. I'll give him that.
7 on defense. So here's the scores. Tennessee Tech, they won. They won at West Virginia. They won at Houston. They
beat-
won
what's
at
his name?
Duke.
Daniels, by the way, at West Virginia.
Yeah. They beat Duke. That's one of Duke's only one of their 4
Powerhouse.
losses that they had. But Duke was good last year. They're returning a lot of better players.
There we go.
They beat Iowa State. They barely lost to TCU. Now I'll start naming the scores because this is where the losses come in. They lost by 7 points to TCU. They lost by 10 points to Oklahoma. They lost by 12 points to Baylor. They lost by 15 to Texas Tech. Now, they did lose by 41 points to Texas. They lost by 20 to Kansas State and then lost by 2 to Arkansas in the Liberty Bowl.
Now, who does Texas
Hold
bring back,
on.
Bobby?
Hold on. Wait,
Brian.
time out. If I remember correctly, I think their quarterback got hurt the week before the Texas game, and that's when
No, he got hurt
everything
in the
went
TCU
downhill.
game. Yeah.
Even better. That makes my point.
Well, hold on, but still, is he 40 points?
Well, they didn't have that kind of loss until you did, so there's a good argument for that.
Well, he also doesn't play defense.
What's their offensive production?
I don't know what they score.
Neither does
Brian?
DJ.
How many points did they score against Texas?
They scored 14. Now, to
There you
answer but to answer the points per game for the 2022 season, they ranked number 20 in the country.
All right, how many points
35
per
points.
game after TCU?
Oh my God! After
You're
the
gonna lose this
TC,
argument.
after the 20, they were
I mean,
still
Tim
putting
Money,
up
you can do whatever you want to, but I'm just saying.
31, 31, 42, 23, 37, 28, and then it dipped at 14 and then 27. Grafnar, do you have any thoughts here, my friend?
No, I'm still trying to mess with my computer because I had to switch to the phone, and now I'm trying to find the schedule. I'm still filming at the mouth about Carolina and Tennessee.
So
I want
I don't
Vols to
blame
just
you.
destroy them team.
who's all coming back for Texas since they technically
playing
in
Kansas that
Chase's
week,
mind
right?
only won by, if the quarterback would have been there, they won by 7 points.
That wasn't the point.
Okay, well, who's Texas bringing back?
Okay,
Yeah.
that's where I was going with this, my friends.
Okay,
I was actually going to do this thing. Now, before I say this, you know how these books are, especially Lindy's, is laid out. So when you start a conference, whoever is at the front, the very first one, it's not in alphabetical order. The very first one that is at the front, that's who they believe is going to be the conference champion. With that said, the Texas Longhorns. Now the Texas Longhorns, they are returning
Ewers.
16 players overall, 9 on offense, 6 on defense. Of course, they have Ewers, they have Arch Manning, who I think is a fantastic athlete. He has a great pedigree, but I'm telling you, I would hate to be that kid. I'm going to tell you
I
that.
agree.
I really
Yeah.
would.
Yeah, no.
Yep.
I
And
would
if Ewers
hate to
didn't
be
get
that.
hurt against Alabama would have lost to Texas.
I think so,
Wasn't
yeah.
there some
100%.
shadiness wasn't there some sort of penalty or something that got Alabama closer to kick a field goal?
Yes.
Honestly, it was
Something like that.
a nosebleed football game, and I want to say that the refs let some stuff go because it was hard hitting. It was just, and then Ewers got hurt. I mean, it was a good game, great game, honestly. For it to be a Texas team that's trying to make it back, and an Alabama team that's established. So it was a great game. It was a great game.
I'm going to send out this invitation real quick. SEC Dog, If you cannot turn your camera on, that's totally fine. But if you would like to join us, SEC Dog, I would love for you to hop on.
Is he
I
naked?
have
Awesome.
SEC. I hope not. SEC Dog, SEC Dog, if you are willing to come on, because you have been a faithful Bobby Durkins. I'm doing Trump fingers. A faithful Bobby Durkins. China.
It's been best, okay?
Bobby
It's been
Durkins.
best.
It's the best. You have been the one of the longest running Bobby Durkins followers, SEC Dog. And you and I have talked trash to each other, but you and I agree on a ton of stuff, Georgia and Clemson and college football related. So I'd love to have you come on. If you can't, you can't. Yeah, I mean, the offense for Texas is pretty doggone loaded, folks. I'm talking about with returning starters.
Who they play in their bowl game?
In their bowl game, they played Washington, and they lost.
Bowl games, you can't really tell, though.
I know.
You just can't.
I just was trying to make Parker feel like a dum-dum.
I understand.
Listen, at the end of the day, it's your money. You do what you want.
I will. I'll spend it on.
But I'm just telling you, whatever you're betting, I'm betting the opposite.
Now, if I'm a Texas fan, this
Okay.
is what I would come after all four of us with. If I'm arguing for Texas,
Okay.
I would say that I lost by 1 point to Alabama, 20-19. My other loss was by 3 points to Texas Tech. I would tell you that I lost by 7 points to Oklahoma State, that I lost to TCU by 7. Now, I agree with you, Grafnard, that the Alamo Bowl, God, what a sleeper. Let's go play the Alamo Bowl. Great. Wonderful. Guys like us, we would love to get out on the field and strap on some cleats, go play some football. I get that. But when you get into the business decision, of college football, you got the NFL, or you can go play the Alamo Bowl. What are you gonna do? You're gonna keep your knees and your legs and all that bunch of stuff to go play in the NFL.
I'm a little retro for that, so.
So,
And I agree with you. I understand exactly what you're saying, but I think that college football has officially held up the sign to all of us going, this is a business. And they've made it blunt to us. This is a business. You go to the school and y'all are all enjoying the tradition, and I do. I love it. I love going and finding those authentic, like Chase, you held up. I mean, I was an authentic, that's a vintage piece, man. Virginia, West Virginia. And
I'll
so
go
on.
get the picture that I have with Danny Ford as a kid. If you give me a second.
Beautiful. I was there. Holy crap! I remember because the last play, it was this throw into the end zone. You had James Earl on one side and James Lott on the other that actually stuffed the receiver so he couldn't catch the pass. It was Major Harris that threw the pass.
Yep.
I was there too. Small world.
Chris.
I don't have a thing though. I can't prove it.
What I'm sharing here is actually the comparison in the two teams. They're not that far off as you would think, being Texas, comparing Texas to Kansas. And just to remind you, Daniels didn't play the last four games, and he only.
But did yours get hurt too?
I think he played in his bowl game.
Not sure.
Yours got hurt against Alabama, but wasn't he out for a while?
Mm-mm. He played 15. Where's the games?
Ignore me. I'm trying to use my phone. Okay.
I want to say he missed some games because he was injured.
He did.
He was injured against Bama,
Nope.
wasn't he?
Nope.
He got hurt in like the second quarter or third quarter against
It's
Alabama.
telling you right here. He played in every game.
All right, the hat with the hat said
But played in
45
every game.
games.
Okay. Go.
Yeah.
He played in every game.
It's on the screen. Look at it. It's right here. It's right here.
Of course, when I zoom in, it's blurry, so I can't really see the numbers. But I believe it.
And at ULM, he was he had 16 of 24 completions. Alabama, he had 9 of 12. OU had 21 of 31. Iowa State, he had 17 of 26. Oklahoma State, 19 of 49. KSU, 18 of 31. TCU, 17 of 39. KU, 12 of 21. Baylor, 12 of 16. So, I mean, like, he played in every game. By comparison, there's a big difference. I mean,
2 games, 1 game.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 10. There's a big difference between 9 and 10.
I can't see it. There's one. Let me zoom in.
Jalen Daniels, I know that, and I just Googled this. He missed 4 straight games.
Yeah.
He missed 4 straight games. So that's it. That's interesting. Now, Leopold, I think that's his last name, Coach Leopold, the head coach of Kansas. Guy, I mean, considering the dumpster fire that he took over, he did a great job.
I mean, I just also want to point this out here too, right? Daniels, 90th in passing yards. Ewers, who I think is a good quarterback, by the way. Don't I'm not taking anything away from Ewers, but I think Daniels isn't getting enough credit. Look at the QBR.
Again, he missed four games. So
okay.
Now
I'm seeing it. I get it. He had 18 touchdowns in the amount of games he had. Yeah, I got you.
Now I just Googled games missed by Ewers, and this is from Sports Illustrated, October 6, 2022. Ewers missed 3 full games after suffering injury in his non-throwing shoulder, and the Longhorns lost to Alabama in week 2.
So, see?
Both, but let's step back and take a look at this. You have one guy with Bijan Robinson behind him, and then
who's the running back for Jalen Daniels? Don't worry, I'll wait.
I have no idea.
I have no clue.
Exactly.
Yeah. So hey, if Leopold, I would like to see Leopold do quite well out there. I mean, it would be nice to see. I like to see, like Matt Rule. Matt Rule, I think I would not be shocked if he did well at Nebraska. Now, are they going to be the Nebraska of Tom Osborne? No, I don't believe so. But could you see in 2 years, 3 years, Nebraska being a solid football team that you actually have to worry about when you play them? Absolutely.
No.
You don't think so?
Not lately, no. Nebraska, no. With Rule, that's a different bird. We have no idea what's coming down the pipe.
Yeah.
So,
especially throw in the fact that, people like me have to adjust the fact that, we have the transfer portal stuff going on. So it's like, oh, Nebraska was terrible last year. Even if Matt Rule comes in, it's like, nope, that logic no longer applies. And dinosaurs like me have just got to adapt. So who knows what's going to happen in Lincoln?
Yeah, that's what's interesting with me with this whole Colorado Buffalo thing. Now, with Colorado playing USC this same week 5, you're looking at the 2 biggest, like they valued so much from the transfer portal. These 2 teams. But throw this out there just real quick. Texas picked up A.D. Mitchell from Georgia. This guy has 2 national championship rings, and he transferred to Texas. Throw that out there for you. There's no money involved, I promise. I double promise you.
Carolina ended up with Feaster somehow.
that didn't help them that much.
That was interesting because I live in the upstate. I live in the upstate in the Greenville area. I'll leave it at that. And I'm not too far from Spartanburg High School. So Tavian Feaster, when he was playing high school football and he was ranked the #1 running back in the country, I remember it because it was a big deal in this area that the #1 running back in high school football. It's not at Apopka. It's not at IMG. It's not at St. Bosco or Mater Dei or LaSalle. It's not at it's at Spartanburg High School in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And Feaster was tearing it up. Feaster looked good, and he had some great moments at Clemson. But when he left, you remember he made some type of statement that was along the lines of, I just want to go to a place where there's more transparency. And it's like, dude, you've had too many activists or something in your ears. Everybody was transparent with you. You come out here, be the better player, you're going to get on the field. You're still getting on the field. You just have the misfortune of having to run behind the best running back to ever play in the ACC and one of the best running backs probably in college football history, probably top 200 players.
Do y'all
So
follow, there's a guy on Twitter who, I don't know if y'all follow him. I can't remember who he is, but he is actually making a lot of points saying that ETN is better than Dalvin Cook, better than
A healthy Le'Veon Bell.
yeah.
That's a tall order, but yeah. I'm gonna. Hey, Brian, I'm gonna hop off, but I'm gonna listen to the rest of it.
Parker, thank you for coming on here. I'm going to have to hop off because I was only going to do this for about 45 minutes. Now we're at an hour and 20.
Yeah,
As I always do.
Before Parker, before you go, I just want to point out that this Devin Neal, he had 180 carries and had
1,000 yards.
1,000 yards. Yep. I just want to point that out there because did you know who he was prior to me saying his name?
Mrs. Devin Neal.
That's a
No,
good
you
answer.
Wouldn't, you wouldn't say that to his face.
Very good answer.
Thank you.
But what I'm saying is that if you look at it, he had 180 carries and 1,090 yards, right?
Non-touchdowns. Continue. I'm listening.
Then you have Bijan, 1,500 yards. I
Yeah.
was trying to pull up all those other carry stuff, but it was being goofy. Oh no, he had 258 carries. So he had almost
78 more carries.
thank you. I don't math, so I married an accountant. But
Good call.
and he only had 500 more yards. Like I think people are going to sleep on Kansas, and I think Texas will sleep on Kansas, and either Kansas will cover the spread or they'll beat them.
All right, and what's your bet?
I'll
Remember,
put
this is the
25
first
on
five.
it right now.
No. I didn't. Not the price.
This is the first six
what's your
games.
bet?
What?
What's the
I
bet
think
you're
it's the
making?
first 6 games. Kansas did a lot better in the first part of the last season.
Facts.
Right. I agree. And they played great. And then once Daniels got hurt, that's when things started going downhill. I don't know what the bet is. I haven't seen
No,
what the spread
you
is.
said, or were you trying to do like an outright type thing?
I said either they're going to cover the spread
Okay, that's what I was trying to get at.
or they're going to win outright. One of those two. That betting on them is going to be a win, in my opinion, as of right now, unless something changes.
Okay. Well, good
You
luck.
think there's going to be a little bit extra anger on there for the fact that Texas is leaving? I think there might just
No.
I mean,
just saying.
All right, I'm hopping off, Brian.
Good to talk to you, Parker.
I don't know. I think what's interesting is you should definitely have a conversation stream about the ACC stuff again with the potential. Because I was talking with a buddy of mine who is a deep-rooted Georgia fan who actually wouldn't mind having Clemson join the SEC, but his thing is that Clemson is not likely to join the SEC due to the fact that they're not bringing in any new territory, right? The South or any new market. The South Carolina market is already in with South Carolina. And so as far as television, I was like, that's a good point.
That's the mindset of the last college football realignment was TV markets. It's not necessarily based on that because it's more streaming. They're trying to get better matchups in general, if memory serves. So that's the one good thing Clemson has going for it if you're looking at that. But, as I said, their entire topic just makes me cry, and I don't want to do that in front of y'all. I just met y'all, so I don't want to cry in front of you.
Yeah,
That's okay.
Well, Grafnard,
Thanks.
we will judge you, but not to your face. We're good people.
No. That's
That mean-
fine. That's fine.
That means we talk bad about you behind your back. That's what we
You
do.
darn well. If I start crying in front of you, you darn well better. I'm just saying.
Oh my god! The teams that I am looking at to do really well this year. And yeah, I'm rolling the dice. Just because they do well one season and do incredible things doesn't mean that the ship has turned. Tulane, I'm definitely watching Tulane this year. And what's so interesting about Tulane is that last year they were doing all these great things, and you would hear about them. Oh, Tulane's doing pretty good, and then they would like jump on to whatever big game was going on that week, and it was just a passing thought. And it was not solidified that Tulane was actually who they were and did what they did until the Cotton Bowl was over. And it's like, they just beat Southern Cal. Holy crap, they just beat Southern Cal. And I remember watching that game when their running back, which sadly, he's gone. He's no longer with the team. He didn't take the transfer portal. He just graduated. So that's a big loss because that guy was a beast. He was a beast. Now, their starting quarterback, he's back. They got a lot of pieces back. They didn't lose some people. But I'm really interested to see that team because it was just like, if there was ever a Cinderella story for ESPN or CBS or Fox Sports to do a story on it, as it was happening, it was them. And oddly enough, they missed it. They missed the whole thing. So I'm looking forward to seeing them.
Also, I think Colorado does some crazy things this year too. I just want to put that out there. I know I jumped in a little late on that, but I agree with you. I think the USC Colorado game is going to be depending on if Dion can get his boys into a whole nother, thought process and get out of the, oh, we're just Colorado, we're here and happy to win 4 games, which I think he's doing a good job. I think USC they may get. They're going to win, but I think USC's going to get. Oh no! I'm saying I think USC is going to get punched in the mouth, and they're not going to understand what happened in Colorado.
Honestly, I think you're right. Yeah.
I'm pulling. I know that you probably have to go. I went on Ticketmaster, and I just want to look at the ticket prices.
The USC game?
Of the USC Colorado game. The most affordable ticket right now on Ticketmaster is $235. I was kind of shocked at that. It's $235, but I'm telling you, this is a big deal. Him going there because the tickets. If you get online and you look at the tickets, you look at the TCU game, $200. I mean, that's a big deal for now at Clemson. That's no big deal, but for Colorado, people are wanting to see Dion and his team. And I've told you I've had to pump the brakes a little bit. I did a little more research, saw that Charles Kelly is his defensive coordinator. Now that changed some stuff for me because Charles Kelly had a heck of a defense at Florida State when they won the national championship with famous Jameis Winston. And he was the guy running it. So he's running the defense. The former head coach of Kent State, high-flying offense, he's running the offense. The problem that Colorado is going to encounter, and Chase, you know this especially from playing Grafnar. I don't know if you played or not. I didn't.
No, I did not.
I did not. I was just friends with the guys who played. But from the strategic side of things, you have to mesh as a team. You have to mesh as a team. You have to. You have to have chemistry there. All right? Next, aside from meshing as a team, there is a depth problem at Colorado. So you have the players who are on the field who he's got a 5-star at both corners, Travis Henry and that Carmani Edwards or whatever his name is, or I can't remember his name. Y'all please forgive me for that. I probably butchered his name. And they've got some great players that they've brought in. Who is behind those players who's going to give those players a rest? That's what he's going to run into. But for Deion Sanders, he is in the Pac. And the Pac is not one of the best conferences in college football. It's up and down. Take Utah. When Utah's playing in the Pac, and I said this earlier, I know I'm being a parakeet here, repeating. But Utah When they're playing in the pack, they're fearless. You get them outside of the pack, they're scared to death, and they'll blow it. They'll blow it. Florida. They lost that game in the swamp.
Nope. I'm not going to allow that. I'm not
Yes.
going to.
You know I'm right.
Utah legitimately went to Florida in the dead of the heat at night in Gainesville and lost by 3 points. I watched that quarterback from Utah absolutely run around like he was a man.
How did
against
Florida end up last year?
Not good.
Okay.
But that's.
I think Utah was a better team than what I thought. Utah was a better team in that game. I think they got lucky. I'll be honest.
But that's what I'm saying. It's not that they don't have the coaching or the players.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what it was.
Or the playability.
Interception.
What I'm saying is when they get outside of their conference, they lose. I don't know if they lose the confidence. I don't know if they come into an SEC stadium and it's like, oh my God, holy crap, this is the swamp. Oh no.
Swamp. I mean,
It's the
I don't know
swamp.
a lot of people who don't go there regularly. It wouldn't be like, what was that?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is when you line up and play football, you've gotta overcome that. And that's the thing that I'm saying with Whittingham. Whittingham's a dang good coach. But there's something about his teams losing that edge, because I'll tell you this, I think that if you took Florida and you put them in, I don't know, name a football team that's just okay, put them in their jerseys and put Vanderbilt. Put them in Vanderbilt's, they're terrible, but put them in Vanderbilt's jerseys and put them at a stadium of about 50,000 people that's open, and they could hoop and holler and scream, but because it's so open, you really can't get any resonance in there. I guarantee you, Utah drags them by 14 to 20 points. And they would jog over to the sideline and go, hey, coach, we just beat that crappy team. Well, that crappy team was Florida, and you wasn't in the swamp. And you're looking at it, y'all both know this because you're both watch the channel all the time, a shell of history. Florida looks like Florida. They play the fight song of Florida. They have the gator and the chomping and all that bunch of crap. They are not Florida. They are not playing Florida level football.
No, I agree. I completely agree with that. However, you also have to take into account that it is Utah that doesn't play SEC schools, right?
Sure.
If that game was played, if that game was played in Utah, who wins?
I hope to anything that is sacred, Utah.
I think Utah wins that game.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Well, they will get their chance. The very first.
Oh, it's a
game of
home
the
and
year.
home.
It's going to be at Utah.
But Utah lost their quarterback.
Are you telling me Florida is actually leaving the state of Florida for a non-conference game?
Right.
I know. No, actually,
Wow.
Utah has their quarterback Cameron Rising back.
That Joker's he's a player. He's a good baller. He's a good ball player for sure.
They return 6 and 6 back on each side of the ball. So there's going to be some rebuilding. They have some seniority on the offensive line, and the two that they're replacing are still upperclassmen. Their replacements are upperclassmen. So they've probably got a lot of reps up until this time, or a decent amount of reps over the past few years, and now they're going to take probably not that big of a deal. Now they are losing their starting running back, but having that quarterback and coming out there and running the thing. By the way, Kyle Whittingham, he has 18 years in. 18 years. You don't hear that in the college game that much.
Yeah.
I mean, Kirk Ferentz has got him at Iowa, but.
Well, I think I know, Bobby, that you were trying to get off, and I kind of sparked the football talk back up. But I think in
I had to put that up there.
no, those are no. Those are BYU fans.
Hey, but they're not too far away.
That's very true. That's very true.
They when I say I'm talking about like 45 minutes, I would love to go to a game at the Holy War. I would love to go to Provo. I would love to go to Provo and see a game at and eat one of those cougar tails or whatever they're called there. That would be awesome.
So it is. I just realized at what time it was, and the horse vet business kicks off bright and early in the morning.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to get off. This has been fun. Next time, I promise I'm not going to get all jacked up with nonsense on the first part of the thing, so we can actually have good football talk. But stay classy.
What's the point without fun, man? Everything's fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what makes it great.
That's true.
Grafnar, thanks for joining
Nice
me,
to
my
meet you, man.
friend.
Yeah,
Thanks
yeah,
for coming
definitely.
on. Chase, thanks for coming on.
Ooh.
And I'm going
What's
to make
that
one more announcement. No, I'm worried about that smell that he has.
Oh,
Oh no. Well, everybody, as I'm about to go off the channel, I just want to tell you thank you so much for joining me for Week 5 preview of the college football 2023 season, and got a bunch of people who joined me here and watch and has liked. And hey, listen, if you hadn't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. It's free. Turn on the notifications. Once again, free. And hit the thumbs up because, well, it is, you cheapskate, free. I said 3. Free. I need to go to bed. But with that said, I do have Mark Rogers coming on Thursday at 2:30, the voice of college football. That is a big deal for me. I've already had Sports Talk Jay on. I've already had Always Irish on. I'm working on other guests to come on here and just give different views about college football. Hey, y'all, we're talking college football. It's a great time. If you are wanting to suggest anything, go into the comments section. Let me know what you think or what topics you would like to hear from. I will tell you this. I'm going to start breaking down individual teams and their opponents. So especially with Clemson, I'm definitely going to do this with Clemson because, well, obviously. With that said, I'm going to break down some other teams that other people, including myself, would like to learn more, not only about them, but their teams. And then having these other guests on will give us a great insight into what's going on with them. Chase Henderson says he would like for Bobby Durkins to go live and open up the stream. And Bobby Durkins might do that. I just don't know if Bobby Durkins won't be banned afterwards. Anyway, well, listen, everybody, thanks for joining me. Grafnar, thanks for joining me. The Henderson sisters, thanks for hopping on. Everybody in the comments section, everybody that's left a comment, I appreciate it. Pass it along to your friends. If you're part of any forums, pass the show along to them. I would feel free to do that because I knew that the Henderson sisters has done that. And people's been like, hey, man, the Henderson sisters told me about you, and I really dig what you do. Look, guys, I just love college football, especially these guys, but I love college football. Thanks for joining me. You take care. I hope you have a great week, and I'll be on with Mark Rogers in a few days.
all right. See ya.